Thanks to my good friends in the band Ocean Jet for allowing me to use their MP3 in this demonstration.
This video is brought to you by OGG File Academy.
So I've got my MP3 here on the desktop. You probably have a bunch of MP3s yourself with some of your favorite songs. Now I can go ahead and preview it on a Mac by pressing the space bar, and you can probably hear the introduction to the song playing in the background. And there's a little slider down here. There's the middle of the song. So it works just fine. Now, if we want to play it in the browser with our HTML code, there's actually an audio tag that lets us do that. Fairly easy to use. So we'll use the audio tag here inside the HTML document that I've prepared. And we have to use the controls attribute and set that equal to controls. So it should be controls equals controls, just there like that. And what that's going to do is that's going to use the browser's internal audio player controls. Those differ a little bit from browser to browser, so it might look slightly different in Google Chrome than it would in the Apple Safari browser, for example. Now, we have an MP3, and for a long time, when they introduced HTML5, different browsers only supported certain audio file types. So one browser might support MP3, while another would support, for example, WAV. So one browser might support MP3, while another would support, for example, WAV. So here we've got our MP3, and now pretty much all browsers will play MP3s, but I'll show you what to do if you run into a case where you have to support an older browser that doesn't. So we're going to use the source tag, which has a source attribute, so it's source, and there we're going to put in our file name. Now you notice our file name was inserted here with these %20s, and that represents the space in the file name. You're probably better off not having spaces in your file name, but if you do, this is exactly what's going to happen. All right, so let's go ahead and save our document, and let's go ahead and test in the browser, and you should be able to see the audio controls. I'm using Google Chrome here, and the audio player has got pretty typical audio controls. There's the play sign, and you can hear the music again in the background, hopefully. We've got our slider for different parts of the song, a pause feature, and then a volume control. So that's all built in internally. Now, if we were to play this same MP3 or run the same HTML in a different browser, the controls are going to look a little bit different. So this is Apple Safari browser. See the difference? Still works just fine. There's our music, our slider, etc. So it still works just the same, but it appears a little bit different from browser to browser. Now, as I mentioned before, some older browsers might not support MP3s. So sometimes we might have different sources with different file types for the audio. So luckily I have this OGG file, which stands for OGG Vorbis. That's a different way to encode audio. And I can add that just like this. Source equals, and this time we're going to go ahead and use the OGG file, which is right there. So what's going to happen in the browser is the browser will say, okay, can I play the MP3? And if it can, it'll play it. If not, it'll try and play the OGG file. Now, this will obviously have no effect on the browsers that we have now, because all the current browsers support both MP3 and most of them support OGG as well. So there we go. So there you have an example of playing audio with HTML5.